Hello, Fantasy Faithfuls, and welcome to another live stream here at CSD Fantasy's YouTube channel. As always, I'm going to give it a minute to let people join in and let people know on Twitter that we're live. Hope everybody doing well and had a really nice Thanksgiving. Let's get it out. We are live right now, answering questions for week 12 and beyond. Let's get it out there. We are actually live 1 hour before our regular 12 p.m. Eastern Time schedule due to soccer games starting at 12 p.m. Oh, John, how's it going? I'm doing great. How about you? And my Thanksgiving was different this year. Actually did nothing but watch football. I'm currently out the country still, so not being able to celebrate with my fiance was sucky, but it was all right. How was yours? Starting with water early today to make sure that my voice holds up. Let's see. So the stream is looking good. We can see everything. Yes, we can. We got the charts. Hope the sound is good. I'm going to give it another 20 seconds before getting into the first question. That I've lined up two from Twitter, from Dan, and from Trailmix that we're going to get to quickly. But it seems to be a little latency here on the stream, but let's get into it anyway. We got from Dan, one of our regulars on Twitter. He wants to know about Curtis Samuel, Alshon Jeffrey, and Antonio Brown. And of course, it's going to be Brown. Funches is out, otherwise he was thinking about him. But he mainly wants to know about Curtis Samuel and Alshon Jeffrey. There's almost no risk in starting Jeffrey for 5.5 points, but that's really like that is not a lot of points. Not a lot of points. Roughly the same floor. He has a higher ceiling, tougher opponent, but I don't like the projection, which tends to show that it doesn't match too well against the Giants. So I'm willing to gamble on Samuel for this week because he has that higher projection. I'm willing to gamble on Samuel this week. There we go. Thank you, Dan. Let's get back to the stream, see how the chat's doing. Nothing coming in, so I'm gonna keep answering questions on Twitter for the time being. I see people are joining in on the stream, so welcome. You can just post whatever question you have, fantasy related or other stuff as well, in the chat, and I'll get to it as soon as I can. The chat always have priority over Twitter. We won't hear from Trail Mix. Would you start Lamar Jackson or Tom Brady? It should be Brady. Even though he has been injured. If you're okay with him missing practice, I would start him. If you are okay with Brady missing practice, I am too and would start him. Thank you, Trail Mix. Let's get back to answering questions here in the chat. We got John with the first one. Cortland. Did I spell that right? No. Cortland Sutton or Christian Kirk. Almost the same projection, lower risk. Higher floor for Sutton, though, but a much higher ceiling for Kirk. Roughly the same opponent rank. They're very evenly matched. I would probably start Kirk. I like his trends moving forward. Lower risk, meaning he has produced in this range a little bit more than Sutton has. And the higher ceiling, as we get further into the season, I'll tend to move further and further from the floor into the ceiling when you get into those must-win matchups to get into the playoffs. I'm willing to gamble much more than I was earlier in the season when I just want to stack up points. I don't need like I've been saying before, I don't need 40. I just need 25 to secure a win. But now we're starting to more and more be a little bit more concerned about making the playoffs. Like I said, I've actually missed a playoff in one league for the first time, and I think that was the second time I missed the playoffs in like 3 years. Not just in that league, but overall, out of like 15, 16 leagues. Wesley, welcome to stream. How you doing? Happy to have you on board. Let's see what you got. I need this win, y'all. Pick one. Aaron Rodgers. Yes. Yes. No. Okay. Aaron Rodgers, A.A. Ron, or Lamar Jackson. It's going to be A.A. Ron. And then sit one. Aaron Jones. Nick Chubb. Oh, Nick Chubb. I'm going to talk about him. Sony Michel. And Dalvin Cook. Okay. So first, let's start with this one first. Rodgers. Playing Rodgers. It's Aaron Rodgers. Play him. Just don't try to be cheeky. Just start Aaron Rodgers. Even though he plays Minnesota, I don't care. Start Aaron Rodgers. Let's look at these ones. Let's move them up. Yes, I like to have them up here. I'll get to your second one in a minute, John. I'll see it. But let's talk about this Wesley one because he mentioned Nick Chubb, and I made a video about him this week. So I wanna touch on him a little bit more. I'm starting Chubb. I love him this week. He matches so well against the Bengals, and I love what I've been seeing from him lately. He's starting to get like up to 20 carries a game. He runs so well outside the guards and the B gap, which is just fantastic against the Bengals, who give up like 4.6 yards per carry in those rushing lanes, which leads me to believe that Chubb is going to have a big game. Running on, I think he runs like 40-something% outside the guards. So if he can run, give him 20 carries for 40%. What is that? Times 0.4, 8 carries, times 4.6, 36 on 8 carries. I mean, that's not huge, but that's the Bengals' worst running lane. Like that's, I mean, the best. That's where they defend the best. So if he can get that much from where the Bengals are the best, he's gonna be really good. So I would start Nick Chubb. Out of these numbers, Nick Chubb is a must start. What do we got here? Aaron Jones is a must start out of these. And then much more risk with Cook. I'm liking James White a lot this week. A lot. So I think he's going to be good compared to Sony Michel. But I would start Michel over Cook. We still haven't seen that much out of Cook, and the running game in Minnesota is just terrible at the moment. Their offensive line is just terrible. So I would start Michel over Cook. So I would sit Dalvin Cook. Sorry for being a little long-winded there, Wesley, but I hope you got what you wanted. And Mark, I see you. Welcome to stream. Happy to have you on board. Let's get to your question, John. Oh, no problem, Wesley. Sony Michel. Let's get Sony back on the board. And then Peyton Barber. And if anybody here in the stream want to check out and see the status on Melvin Gordon right now, I'll be super appreciative. Last thing I heard was he was going to play. But I got Austin Eckler too, so I kind of want to know. But I know I'm going to be doing the stream here, and I don't want to sit and Google that. So let's get John's question. Was Sony Michel or Peyton Barber? Higher projection, much higher risk, higher floor, lower ceiling, roughly the same ranked opponent. Gordon is playing. Thank both of y'all. for having my back. This is a tough question. I like the projection with Barber. It's 2 points, but it comes with much more risk. He doesn't have the highest of ceilings, but he's just getting going. So this is impacted heavily by him being terrible early in the year. I just picked him up as a gamble in a dynasty league for next year, and this one is difficult. I would probably go with the guy who has the high projection and less competition on the team that that usually needs to score a buttload to even be relevant in any game. So I would have to go with Barber on this one, even though I probably never said that sentence in 2018 to go with Barber. That was John. Thank you for that question, though. I love it. Mark's first one of the day. Nick Chubb, not Nick O'Leary. He wants me to rank these. Leonard, Fournette, James White. Love James White too, but I do love the other ones. Damn it. Okay, this gonna. Oof. Chubb. Don't look at this too much. I have the video I did had different numbers. This is just from a different spreadsheet. But if you have time, check out that video. It's just 2-3 minutes long on Nick Chubb on why you should start him this week. I mean, he has the easiest opponent of all, but these numbers are actually a little bit better than what I'm showing here. And like I said, I like what he does against or outside the guards in the B gap. So Chubb is number 1. I like what White is doing. Lower projection though. Chubb is number 1. Oof. This one is difficult though. High projection, high risk. That's nothing unusual. Lower floor, higher ceiling. Roughly the same, much higher. But I'm gonna have to go with Fournette here too, just for the high projection. That leads me to believe he fits a little bit better than White does against New York. Fournette fits against Buffalo a little bit more. Also extremely close. So it had to be Chubb, Fournette, and White in that order. But I like all three a lot this week. So I don't think that you can go like extremely wrong in your decision here, Mark. And it was PPR, my bad, dude. Well then I'm gonna have to change it up completely to go White, Fournette, and Chubb in that order. Oh, I did not read that it was PPR. I'm so sorry. I think White is going to catch a lot more passes. I think Fournette is going to catch 4. And White, I got him for 7. Holy crap. And Chubb for 1. So that's a lot of safe points for White and Fournette. So I have to switch it up completely and do White, Fournette, and Chubb in PPR, and Chubb, Fournette, White in standard. That's how close I have them. Like, it's super close. Oh, no problem, Mark. I'm sorry for being a little complicated. Am I a little off today? I don't know. I was super excited to do this, but apparently I'm not reading the questions in the right way. Wesley got another one. Let's get on the next question. KKQT. That's the wrong way. See, I'm like, what am I doing? There we go. Cortland Sutton or Alshon Jeffrey. Also super close. There's a lot of close calls here, but I think it's because we had so many games on Thanksgiving that those players are just irrelevant right now, that is going to be a lot of the same names brought up over and over again. We got QT predicted for 7.1. What's this? I'm going to read this again and make sure. It's just start 1. Perfect. Non-PPR. What do we got? We got it's going to be QT here too then, because he has so much high projection. Of course, he comes with high risk. Roughly the same floors. Roughly the same ceiling. Alshon has a great ass ceiling though. But with the higher projection, This one is tougher. Much tougher. Y'all are putting me on the spot this weekend. Like, holy crap. Full point PPR. Let's check it out. Did I do something here? What? I got Sutton for 0. How's that even possible? Something is wrong with him. Let me double check that before I give you an answer. But in PPR, yeah, something is wrong here. I got Alshon Jeffrey for 8 receptions. that's a lot of receptions. Let me double check one thing real quick. Because it might be something missing here in the underlying data. In the meantime, hope y'all had an amazing Thanksgiving. Mine was a little bit strange compared to previous years. Let's see what we got here. Oh, this is just all wrong. All wrong. This is not a good stream quality, which I'm sorry about. Yeah, holy crap. I got him. Right now, it says that Alshon Jeffrey is going to see 31 targets this week. Holy crap. Like, why? That's nasty. No, is this average? No, he's supposed to get 10 targets and catch 8 of those. Okay, that's not bad. That's just crazy though. So, well, in PPR then I would have to start Jeffrey. Don't know why I don't have any numbers for Sutton, and but I don't like him anyway. So it's gonna be one player. Has to be Jeffrey with the receptions. And I'm sorry for being, like I said, for being like a little all over the place. I guess it's a hangover. What is it called? Like weekend hangover. No alcohol involved though. But I see that, was that the last question? I saw that Melvin Gordon was playing. Thank you for that info. Otherwise, let's check Twitter and see what we got. While we don't have any questions here in the chat. We got one here with Baker Mayfield or Lamar Jackson. This is from, well, it doesn't have a name. Let's see. Higher projection for Mayfield. Roughly exactly the same risk, higher floor, higher ceiling. Really easy opponent with Cincinnati. So that's a Mayfield for me. Pretty easy pick. This is an easy one. What y'all send me is just difficult. Prefer Mayfield. Ledrock, welcome to the stream. Happy to have you on board. You want to know about Dion Lewis and Josh Adams. Yes, I added Josh Adams. Awesome. Half point PPR. Oh, we can get that one back up again then. There we go. Let's look at the quarterbacks first. Again, I prefer Mayfield because he has a high projection with the same risk, higher floor. I expect him, even if I have a bad game, I expect him to score a little higher than Jackson. Higher ceiling, not the highest for any of them. I don't think they're gonna be as good as people are hoping they'll be. I think they'll be decent. I just don't think it's going to be gangbusters. Or my algorithm doesn't think it's going to be gangbusters, I should say. And then for Dion Lewis, I have him for a high projection with lower risk, higher floor, higher ceiling than Adams. And let's look with 5 receptions versus 3. So I like Dion Lewis versus Houston a little bit more than I like Josh Adams versus New York. But Adams has been looking sneakily good. But I like Lewis a little bit more. He's a little safer play. We've seen more from him. Eagle Steve Agent, welcome to the stream. Happy to have you on board as usual. Philadelphia Eagles or Houston Texans. Texas. Whoa. That's a high projection. Tennessee. Especially against... Is Mariota playing? Last I heard he was not going to play. Will play on Monday night. Okay. Will play is the latest. Still, he might be hurt again during the game. So that's something to keep in mind. But I have them predicted for 8 points compared to 3.6. So that's quite a big difference. Big difference in risk. Big difference. Same risk. Higher floor, higher ceiling. Roughly the same strength of the opponent. Ranking 10th and 14th and most points given up. But I would play the Texans over the Eagles. Even though I had to play the Eagles in one league. That I don't like too much that I have to. But I'm running out of fab. Maui, my man, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Happy to have you on board. Good morning from Hawaii. That's awesome. How many freaking hours is that apart? It has to be like, I don't know, 10, 11 hours from where I am right now. I'm happy to have you on board this week as well. Hard work and research. Thank you. Should I start Evan Ingram? Ingram over Rob Gronkowski. No, you should not. Both of them rank as a 29th. That's interesting though. Both their opponents give up the exact same amount of points to tight ends. That's pretty neat. But I have Ingram projected for 4.7 points while Gronk is projected for 7.7. That's quite a big of a difference. Higher floor, higher ceiling. Sure, he has higher risk, but I would still prefer Gronk over Ingram by a lot. It's still Gronk. And you say you might need a big game. Who's bigger than Gronk? Nobody's bigger than Gronk. He just do what he do. Thank you for that question, Maui. And so glad to have you on board as well. For y'all who don't know, I think it's Maui's brother has gone to high school with my man, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So that's pretty darn on cool in my mind. Lead Rock, what do we got? This bye week hit me hard in 11 of my leagues. In 11 of your leagues. Holy crap. I thought 7 was too much a couple of years ago, so I had to dial it back down. So much Gurley, Hunt, Cooks, Mahomes, Woods, Kelsey, and Goff. Yeah, I can see you being really torn apart in week 11. But to be fair, you do have Gurley, Hunt, Cooks, Mahomes, Woods, Kelsey, and Goff. That's a hell of a team. Or teams. Like you're stacked. You can take a loss in week 11 and then come back. In week 12. You can take a loss in week 12. Or like, how's your team doing? 25 money leagues? Became addicted once I put my credit card in for that. No, I can tell. Holy crap, dude. You're in 25 leagues? But do you draft... Do you draft... Some people tend to draft the same players in a lot of leagues and just put all their money on the same players throughout everything. Or do you hedge your bets that you draft a boatload of different players in different leagues, but then you have to go against yourself in a lot of leagues as well? Because I trust my numbers, so I try to get the best team that I can, and I trust that if I can draft my highest rated players in all my leagues, I'll be good. I mean, they can get injured, but I mean, you can't really. You never know who's gonna tear an ACL. You can't really, hedge against that or gamble on it. We got Agent Lamar Miller or Isaiah. I've really learned how to say that name now. But I still can't spell it, even though you put it in front of me. Isaiah Crowell. High projection for Miller with a little bit higher risk, higher floor, lower ceiling. Terrible opponent. Easier opponent. Still not a great opponent for Crowell. Like the projection, like the floor. That was Agent. Agent, do you need a big game or do you need safe points? I prefer Miller because his ceiling is still pretty good. It's just that Crowell is like, he can give you 1 or 19. Like that's just uncomfortable to me. So I would probably roll. Yeah, I would roll with Miller. I feel good about that too. Like if you need safe points, I would feel really good about starting Lamar Miller this week. But let's check Maui. Okay, cool. Thank you so much. Yes, my brother went to. Yeah, there we go. High school with Dwayne Johnson. Like that's unreal. That's unreal. And then we got Ledrock saying he plays a lot. Some were live and some were auction. Lots of my home shares. A lot of same players that don't vary much. I'm about 120-60 on the year. Yeah, holy crap. Some leagues start as late as... Okay. Oh, that's pretty interesting. In what round did you have to pick up Mahomes in leagues that started in week 4 or 5? Maui, another question. Quick question for your buddy. Sony Michel or Lamar Miller or Marlon Mack? Sony Michel, Lamar Miller, Marlon Mack. What Mack? Was it standard or PPR or anything like that? Because I do like Mack a lot in standard. He has roughly same floor as Miller, much higher than Michel, and the highest ceiling versus a good 5th best opponent to play for a running back with the highest projection and really low risk. PPR. And I have them for 0, 1, and 2 receptions. So that's Marlon Mack for me. Definitely. And he's one of those players that I would like to have. I had to drop him a few weeks ago for a bye week before he got back from his injury. That has haunted me so bad. We got Mark, before I missed that question. Adam Humphries. Christian Kirk is about to disappear. PPR. Let's say Humphries has a high projection, but much higher risk. Lower floor, higher ceiling. Worse opponent. Let's check out the reception. 6 against 3. So that will have to be Humphries in PPR by quite a lot. And interesting to see how the Bucs offense is going to look with Winston back now instead of, what's been going on. I think Mike Evans is going to become a little bit better, to be honest. He usually plays well with Winston compared to, what's his face? Deshaun Jackson playing a little bit better with Fitzmagic. Yes, Miller over Crowell. I went to high school with Wayne Johnson. Who is Wayne Johnson? Is that just a random person, or should I know who that is? And it was PPR. Let's see. We got a question here on YouTube as well that we need to see what that was. It popped up. Let's see. Bernard. Bernard. Is that how you pronounce it? Or Berhard? I'm sorry for butchering your name. Welcome to the stream. Happy to have you on board. You want to know about Marlon Mack and Joe Mixon in standard. Liking Mixon's projection. Roughly the same risk. Higher floor. Higher ceiling. Both have terrible opponents. 6th and 5th best in the league. Rolling with Mixon thanks to that projection. Liking the floor. it's a win for Mac there, but it's still close enough for me to be comfortable that both can have big games. The 10.3 versus that's almost a 2 point. Well, it's a 1.5 point difference. Leads me to believe that Mixon fits well against Cleveland a little bit better than Mac does against Miami. And sorry again if I butchered your name. I like to say that I'm like John Green. Mispronouncing things is my thing. Let's see what Mahomes was about $2 to $5 in preseason auction drafts. Went as high as 30 during in-season auctions. Yeah, that's what I thought. Like he had to spike up in price there. Yeah, going Breeze and Goff seems to have been working pretty well. I've been having a lot of Ryan stock. I don't like to spend too much on my quarterback. I just like safe quarterbacks who do the thing. Well, I do have quite a bit of luck as well. Andrew, that is. And Maui, no problem. Happy to help out. Paul, welcome to the stream. Happy to have you on board. Jameis, Winston, or Philip. That's not how you spell his name. Rivers. Roughly the same projection. 0.6 point difference. Much higher risk for Winston. Lower floor, higher ceiling. Worse opponent. I think if you're looking, like I always say, I'm so risk averse when it comes to quarterback. I like to play the safe card. How's your like game situation looking, Paul? Like what are you looking for? Because if you want that bigger game, I would gamble on Winston, but you know he can shoot you in the foot. I don't know how many times I've started Winston and he ends up getting freaking no points, and then the next week I'll start him and he gets 35. So like what are you looking for? Because the big game come from Winston, while Rivers, he will get you the 15.8 and you won't get over 23. So it'll be very. That's how it's been all season long. Even though he's facing a tough defense for quarterbacks, I still think he'll rack up the points that Rivers gets. But Winston has a little bit more upside, but a lot more risk. That was Paul. Did Paul get back? No. But yeah, so Rivers for safety, Winston for upside. I would roll with Rivers in most leagues where I feel that I just need 15.8. And if I'm like, oh, I need this win or I'm out of the playoff pictures, I'm rolling Winston for the chance of a really big game. Lead Rock again. Sterling, Shepard, or Cortland Sutton. I've been dogging on Sutton for a long time now, and I still don't like him at all. Higher projection for Sterling doesn't mean that I super like him, but he comes with lower risk, lower floor, but a much higher ceiling versus a terrible opponent or a great opponent, depending on how you look at it. They give up the second most points to wide receivers in the league on average. 28.6, which is pretty darn on good for a receiver, that is. So I prefer Shepard over Sutton. Don't really like either of them. Like, yeah. Especially, I never bought the Sutton hype when DT left. Oh, he's gonna be great now. No, still Case Keenum, still the same offense. That's not how it works. That's like the Dallas Cowboys thinking that Allen Hurns, Cole Beasley, and Deontay Thompson were going to be good. Just because you change it up and make Allen Hurns the number one receiver doesn't mean he's the number one receiver. And Tavon Austin is still Tavon Austin. That's football. Mark, PBR, Cameron Braid. He's one of my guys, but not this week. But I tend to like him. David and Joku, who I like a lot this week, and especially for 2019. Uzoma. Hope I pronounced that right. But I prefer Njoku. I think he's going to be good this week. He has a terrible opponent. Give up 6 most points to tight ends. High projection. Still a low one. Tight ends have been projected very low this week. very low this week. Comes with a little bit higher risk, but I'm okay with that. Highest floor, highest ceiling. I'm going with Njoku. I want to see Bray and see how he does. Usually, I like him a lot, but I think he's gonna have 1 week where he might not be the best against San Francisco, and then come on a little strong. He does have a okay schedule, but not the best. And it was PPR. Yes, definitely Njoku then. I got him for 6 receptions. So, yeah, definitely Njoku. Thank you, Mark. Maui, I got a question for you. Do you ever go against your formula and pick with gut feeling? I try not to. Sometimes I just have to, and sometimes I... let's bring up somebody like this, and... well, he does have a really high projection now. But sometimes it's, it's that start your studs type thing where you might have a higher projection. Damn it, I'm trying to find somebody. You have a stud player who you spend a lot of draft capital on, who might have underperformed for a couple of weeks. And with that trend, the algorithm will tell you, oh, he's in a bad place right now. Try to stay away from him. But he's still one of your studs, and he has that big game in him. So that's when my gut is like, keep him in the lineup. He will make you win one game and then get going. But otherwise, I try to not go against my formula. That's been my thing, especially when I'm drafting. The first couple of rounds, I never go against the formula. Never. If a player is above somebody, he will be drafted by me. But I do have a lot of not interconnecting formulas, but I do have a lot of different components into drafting. And you see here, I don't have one number to rule them all. Sorry, my precious. But I have the projection earlier in the season. I have like a seasonal projection not for every player, but for a lot of them. I don't have the risk when drafting, but I have the floor and the ceiling. And then after that, in rounds 7, 8, I can start going more with my gut. Like, I think he's going to be good. Get 2 or 3 of those players. I like to call that darting. When I just throw darts, especially at running backs. And that can be a player like Marlon Mack, Nick Chubb. I had AP, and it was somebody who failed miserably. That was Jamal Williams, and I just threw darts at them, hoping one of them was going to be our number 1 back on their team by the end of the season, or not by the end of the season, but mid-season in. So that's when I go with my gut. Ledrock, gotta ask, your accent is so unique. Like I hear some Brit in there, but more Nordic at times. Yeah, I am Nordic. I'm from Sweden. But I do not speak classical Swedish English like this. My English have been changed a lot by playing World of Warcraft with British people. And then I moved to Atlanta a few years ago, where I spent a year and a half. Met a wonderful girl from South Carolina who I'm marrying as soon as possible. So I have some country and some southern accent stuff in there as well, so it's kind of all over the place. I never know what accent is going to come out, and it tends to fluctuate a little bit where I am. It gets a little bit more country, or not more country, but more southern when I'm over there, and then a little bit more like European when I'm here. Bernard, thanks. No worries. In English is Bernard. In German is Bernhard. Okay, so it's German. Perfect. Bernard. Thank you. Then I know. I think I'm getting it right then. Ich sprechen. Damn it. I thought I had it. I studied German for like 4 years. I'm terrible at it. Ledrock, trying to cover Tyreek this week with Shepard, Sutton, or Humphreys. I think I would roll with, that is a terrible situation. I would roll with Humphreys. If you saw the numbers before, I have Adam Humphreys a little bit higher up. Mark, AJ Green is officially inactive. How do you like Tyler Boyd's matchup versus the defense? Let's bring up Tyler Boyd. He got a good projection. Well, good. An alright projection, but he does have a high ceiling and comes with a very low risk. I'm fairly certain that he's going to outproduce the 7.4. I don't think he's going to score more than 17.2, though. I think I'm starting him in 1 or 2 leagues. One league this week. I was a little bit higher on him until Green went out, actually, and the Cincinnati offense just kind of became a dumpster fire. And he had some really impressive numbers when I did an analysis on him earlier in the season. And it's going to be very interesting to do like a season-ending analysis on him and see how he progressed throughout the year. We can actually bring that up real quick. Let's see how that looks. Now y'all seeing a little bit behind the scenes. But this is Tyler Boyd. Let's see. He's been usable for 4 weeks. Meaning he is a top 24 wide receiver in 4 weeks. That must have been pretty early on. So I like him. I think I would have liked him even more if Green was actually playing. Yeah, darting. Yeah, Maui. That's a. I think I described it in one of my pieces that I wrote on CSDFantasy.com this week. And I've talked about it before in my draft analysis that you can check out on the Draft Center tab on CSDFantasy.com, where I'm like, okay, I've filled up. I don't like my running backs. In the early rounds, I might have one running back that I like. I had Fournette and something in one league, and I didn't feel good about my RB2. So I figured, let's throw some darts. Let's see what sticks and just roll with it. And I had, like I said, Marlon Mack was one guy, Nick Chubb, Jamal Williams, and AP. AP turned out pretty good. Mack turned out great for a little bit. Chubb is turning out great right now, and Jamal Williams was just a terrible decision. But that's the fun thing with it. And when it works really well because you spend no draft capital on these guys. And then when it, like I said, when it doesn't work, you spend nothing. So it's all right. It's not like you're darting on a second round pick. And thank you. I've been engaged for roughly a year to, like I said, an amazing woman who I'm so happy to be with. Michael, welcome to the stream. Happy to have you on board. Greg Olson or Rob Gronkowski. And Boo, if you're on the stream, I'm not just saying you're amazing because you're on here. You know I love you so much. Let's see. Greg Olson. Maui, I'm going to say goodbye to you. Signing out now. I want to let you know that your show is one of the best out there. Thank you so much. I will keep up the good work. And good luck to you, dude. And take care. Aloha. Aloha. My aunt used to live on Hawaii, too. This was Griffin. You were not the one asking. Welcome to the stream as well. Who does start? That was you. Michael. My bad. Olsen or Gronk. This week and for rest of season. Rest of season. For this week, Gronk. And for rest of season, also Gronk. Yeah. It's still he he can get hurt and stuff, but otherwise I like Gronk over Olsen. He has a little bit easier schedule. High projection. He comes with a little bit more risk. And but Olsen does have a good floor, but at the end of the season you want that higher upside. So let's see. I need to get this question on YouTube. Okay, no, that's what's not for me. That was something I wrote that somebody replied to. Thank you for that question, Michael. Griffin, welcome to the stream. Happy to have you on board. Eric Ebron or Cameron Brait. Would have gone for the season. Brait will see an uptick in targets, but Ebron catches touchdowns. Yes, and that's why I have him high ranked. He also has very favorable schedule moving forward and an easier opponent, much higher projection. I feel very good about Ebron. Even though every time I feel good about Ebron, he kills me. And I tend to like Braid a lot, but I'll have to go with my nemesis, Ebron, again. That was half point PPR. I still have Ebron for 4 receptions, 2 Braid's 2. The Braid one should be 4 as well, something like that. But I prefer Ebron. I think Braid is going to be better next week, or like moving forward. Agent, do you feel good about Big Ben this week? Because I have Goff on bye. Ben Roethlisberger. There we go. Griffin, thank you for stopping by. Get some work done. Yeah, have a good one. Good luck today. And go Ebron. Yes, I do like the Roethlisberger. 22 projection, good. Risk, not too high. High floor, high ceiling. Middle of the pack opponent. Love it. I don't think you can go wrong with starting Ben this week. I mean, I didn't think you can go wrong with it last week either, but he turned out pretty good, even though he had a slow start. That rushing touchdown kind of made my day. So I feel like you can start Big Ben. Do you have any other alternatives that you want me to bring up, or is he the only one you have? Michael, no problem. Happy to help out. Marlon Mack from Momentum. How's it going, man? Welcome to the stream. Happy to have you on board as usual. Or Mike Evans. High projection, 1 point, a little bit higher risk, higher floor, higher ceiling, easier opponent. I would go with Marlon Mack over Mike Evans. Never thought I would say that, but I would. Momentum. Okay, Agent. Yeah, go with Ben and feel good about it too. Feel really good about it. That's no problem at all to start him. And I will start Mack over Evans here. Roughly the same risk, high projection. Okay, much higher ceiling, easier opponent. I will feel good about starting Marlon Mack. Lead Rocker, New York Strip or Porterhouse? Are those steaks? Porterhouse is a steak, right? But I don't know what a New York Strip is. I thought a strip was like a boulevard, like the Las Vegas Strip, you know, like a street. Steaks, okay. I don't think I've had either of them. I like the sirloin. That's a steak, right? Like a cut of steak, like a simple one. I worked for the Swedish American Chamber of Commerce for a while when I lived in Atlanta. We had a man who took us out for a steak dinner. It was the most amazing thing I ever had. No idea what I ate. He ordered for me. I think he paid more than like my phone bill for that steak, which is insane, and it was incredible. No idea what I had. I just know it was a good steak. It might have been a porterhouse. I don't think it was a New York Strip. But a nice sirloin is good. But I'm not a big connoisseur of, or like a knower of steaks. But I do like a good cut. Let's see if we have any questions on Twitter. No, not right now. And it's winding down here as well. Let me plug some stuff. I have so much coming up. We have more playoff numbers coming on Tuesday at CSDFantasy.com, where I'm going to be looking at quarterbacks to see who has the best matchups, best numbers for the fantasy playoffs. On Thursday on CSDFantasy.com is the score projections as always, and rest of season rankings. On Wednesday, we also have a new show called Behind the Stream, which is sort of like this. I talk with y'all. I pick some players to look at their numbers. I show some highlights, show the projections for the weeks. That's coming up on Wednesday. It's a concept show that I'm trying to find out what y'all think about it. So If you check it out, please let me know in the comments if you like it. And then on Friday, as usual, fantasy snapshot of a player, 2-3 minute video. Haven't decided who I'm gonna focus on yet. This week was Nick Chubb. Next week, as usual, on Saturday is the head-to-head video. Don't miss it. Still haven't decided on which 2 players. So if you want any 2 players, hit me up on Twitter at CSD Fantasy and let me know who you want me to compare. And I think that was it. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff going on. Also look into, if you want to check out the fantasy snapshot videos, I'm looking to see if people are interested in getting like 100 of them together for a package for next year and see what people think. Doing like a pre-draft package for people with the snapshot videos, looking a little bit deeper, doing like 5-minute videos per player, trying to figure out what people want. So if you want to check them out, leave a comment and let me know if that's something you would be interested in. Michael, Joe Mixon or Marlon Mack. Oh, thank you for loving the stream. Happy to hear that. For this week, I am going. I like I said, Joe Mixon has a little bit higher projection, higher floor, so I feel good about him. I love Mac too, but I really do like Joe Mixon this week. Even though he has a little bit lower ceiling, it's such a big difference in the floor. And with the higher projection, almost 2 points, 1.5. So Mixon, and then rest of season would be Mixon as well, because he has such a favorable schedule. He has the 5th best of all running backs, while Mixon has the 26th ranked schedule. So if Mixon is looking real good moving forward, and I think we kind of been scratching the surface of Mixon a little bit. How many? I was talking about him. He has been sneaky usable. Let's bring him up. Joe Mixon. He has been usable for 5 weeks out of 11, which is pretty good. This is the usability I'm talking about right here. So I feel good about him. I think you would be very comfortable starting Mixon this week and moving forward. Michael, snapshot videos are great. We'll love to see as many as possible. No, that's awesome. I'm going to really focus on them this offseason then. Hopefully more people feel the same. I'm hoping to, like I said, to create a package of maybe 100 players and get it out there. So as much content as possible in the snapshot videos. People seem to love them. And hopefully they like the length and the graphics and the information. Lead Rocker, Breida, James White, Aaron Jones, shoots 2 half-point PPR. And this will actually be the last question of the day if no more come in, because there is a soccer game coming up in a couple of minutes. That's why I moved the stream. Sorry about that if that was an inconvenience for anybody. I got 7 receptions for James White. That's a lot of points. 3.5 points versus 3 and 2 for Jones. So I would go with James White in half-point PPR. I like Breida too, but I looked into his numbers. If you have time, Lead Rocker, check out my video on Breida from yesterday. I looked into his rushing trends versus the Buccaneers, and it's not looking as good as it should versus such a terrible run defense. And I've been looking more and more at White, and I had some, I don't remember what I wrote, but looking at White, it does favor his matchups with his, like, where he tends to be good versus a bottom, versus the Jets, like how he plays on the road versus below 500 record team tends to favor James White over what's his name, Sonny Michel. Oh, you already checked that one out? Okay, awesome. So you know about Breida then. That I prefer, oh, I'm losing names so hard. Philip Lindsay over him this week and moving forward as well. So like I said, thank y'all so much for showing up today, asking all these questions. It really makes me really happy that y'all want to be a part of the stream. It's a ton of fun for me. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Hope to see you again next week. And yeah, thank you so much. I'm so excited that y'all want to do this and find the information useful. So I'm gonna be signing off. Hopefully y'all have good games unless you play me. And as always, the spreadsheets are dark and full of terror.